So my project for the thesis 2019-20 is the seaplane terminal building in Wellington Island, Cochin, Kerala. So seaplanes are basically fixed-wing aircrafts that can take off and land both on land and airfields. Seaplanes have a great potential to be developed as a public use transport system throughout our country, considering India as a peninsular region with a vast coastline. Though there has been seaplane services provided in parts of India like the Andaman Nicobar Islands, Mumbai, Gujarat, etc., there has never been a proper institution or a building to promote its extended public usage. In today's world, transportation plays a significant role in the economic development of any region. The public transport systems in Kerala are becoming highly congested with growing population, and its expansion and development has led to the displacement, demolition and rehabilitation of a large number of peoples and settlements, leading to uneasy situations. Although Kerala has a vast coastline of 596 kilometers stretch, it is not as much used for public transport systems. So the idea is to evolve a new public urban transport system using these coastal resources available in Kerala. Introducing seaplanes in Kerala would improve the regional connectivity, boost tourism, and also could be used as air ambulances in emergency situations like in floods, and also there is an introduction to a faster mode of transport. This public-based transport system can also bring in a lot of employment opportunities towards the region. So there is an introduction of terminals throughout Kerala with a main terminal at the center of Kerala, that is Kochi. Kochi is taken into account not only because it situates in the center of the state, but also because it is the largest urban agglomeration in Kerala and the most densely populated city in the state. Moreover, it ranks first in the total number of international as well as domestic tourists in Kerala. For at least the first few years, the project would be completely or mostly occupied by the tourists arriving in the region. So it is important to situate the main terminal in Kochi, since it has a very large amount of tourists arriving yearly. These are some of the details of the case studies done for the project completion. These include some of the private company-owned flight operations in Kochi and Mumbai, and others like Vellana Seaplane Terminals, which is the largest seaplane terminal in the world. Other case studies include the Miami Seaplane Terminal, which resembles the structure of a coral reef, and the seaplane hangar in Tallinn, which is a reconstruction of an old terminal structure. The site for the seaplane terminal building is taken on the southernmost point of the Wellington Island in Kochi, Kerala. Selection of the site is dependent upon certain criteria such as area under the protected waters, depth of the seabed, maritime movements in the location, navigable airspaces, surrounding community, as well as the current flow, water level, wave heights of the water body. The site offers an area of 56 acres of land which comes under the CRZ rule and which is used as a multi-use land currently. The site also offers a close proximity to Cochin International Airport, Vaitala Mobility Hub, Ernakulam South Railway Station, Cochin Town, Cochin Port, and Kochi Metro. The site also offers suitable climate, water levels, and speeds which is required for seaplane operations. The topography of the site is preferably flat and also provides a small deviation of natural drainage towards the water body. There are also small naturally formed catchment areas in the site which could be used as rainwater harvesting areas. The concept for the terminal building is connective architecture, where architecture plays an important role in connecting land to water and also places. The figures portray the idea of moving outward, providing best accesses and connecting land towards water. The building is zoned out partially on land and partially on water, which is connected through architecture. There are also provision for observatory building on the southernmost point, which gives great views towards the terminal as well as the sea lanes. The observatory building also could be used as a viewing point of the seaplane landing and takeoff. The expanded vision of the concept portrays the terminal as a connect towards technology or transportation to society, to economy, and towards environment. There are introduction towards elevated cultural galleries within the terminal building to promote, to educate, and to entertain through cultural activities. The main entry and exit of the site is given at the rightmost end, and the service entry towards the site is given at the leftmost end. There is a separate pedestrian entry and exit at the center of the site, and each of these entrances and exits have a security check. The site is occupied with the terminal building at the center, and there is an observatory at the rightmost end and a jetty terminal which is provided for the access through national waterways, and a hangar building for repairing and parking of the seaplanes and other service buildings. There is also a public base park provided at the center of the three main buildings situated in the site. The main terminal building is designed in 2 floors, where the ground floor is completely dedicated towards the departure and the first floor completely dedicated towards arrival. Segregating the arrival and departure areas will help in better controlling of the traffics that arrive in the terminal per day. The departure entry is situated on the left side of the terminal building, which moves through the baggage collection areas, reception areas, and reaches the security check area. After the security check area, the passengers could move through the open atrium spaces, which have certain utilities such as shops and cafes on either side. These passengers then could move through the concourse area with the elevated cultural galleries on its either side, and then move towards the pedestrian bridge towards the floating terminal area. The floating terminal also offers certain utilities and also an open atrium space at the center. These passengers could then move to separate gates where they are then departed towards the seaplanes. The arrivals activity occurs on the rightmost end of the floating terminal. The passengers after the arrival arrives the arrival hall and then passed through the security check. These passengers could then move towards the passenger bridge, and which takes them towards the upper floor of the terminal building over land. The first floor of the terminal building on the land provides areas for baggage collection and also other utilities. The passengers could then move out of the building either through the stairs which is located inside or the one outside the terminal. The west elevation shows the ramped way of the pedestrian connections from land towards water. The north elevation is the frontal elevation of the building, which shows its double-heighted glass facade. The floating structure is a pontoon-type floating method where the structure stands over a hollow box to maintain the water levels. The detailed plan shows the service areas provided within the building, such as the travel management offices, staff lounges, administration offices, customs offices on both arrival and departure ends. There are also service areas such as building management offices, staff training areas, pilot lounges, etc. provided on the first floor of the building. The first floor also offers amenities such as cafes, shops, restaurants, spa, etc., which is used by the arriving passengers. The hangar building is where the repairing, fueling, and parking of the seaplane occurs. The building offers a fuel storage, delivery room, baggage handling units, repairing and storage areas, and lounges for employees. The building also has a separate entry for emergency accesses for airlifts or air ambulance purposes. The observatory is a 5-story building with 2-story base building and a 3-story tower. The base building is occupied with auditoriums, observing areas, restaurants, shops, and other administration offices. The topmost floor of the tower is completely occupied for aviation controlling office and is not accessible for public.